This is the structure of Biodiversity Act 2002, where it is a three-tier structure. The first tier at the central level, where it's called as National Biodiversity Authority (NBA). The next level is at the state, is called as State Biodiversity Board, represented by SBB. And then at the local level, where it's called as Biodiversity Management Committee, it's called as BMC. Very very important one is called as the BMC, which is the Biodiversity Management Committees at the local level, nothing but at the block level. These are the three very important tiers that are present here in the Biodiversity Act 2002. See, this is a three-tier structure at the national level, state level, and the local level. The first one, let us see at the national level, where it's called as National Biodiversity Authority. It's called as NBA. What are the functions and powers of NBA? It regulates the activities and approves and advises the government in protecting the biodiversity. Not only in protecting the biodiversity, it approves anything which is in the research mode. Suppose any foreign researcher enters into India for the collection of information or the collection of any specimen of the genetical resources that needs to be approved by the national biodiversity authority. For the local people, for the citizen of India, whenever he wants to make use of the any genetical resource, no such approval is required. This is exclusively for the research from outside India. It will be granting approval, and it not only gives the approval for the research, it also authorizes, say, a person from outside country, maybe from USA, one researcher, maybe one scientist came and identified the product or a tree like tulsi. He identified that it is having very great medicated value, and from this one he has developed a drug for cancer. In order to do research on this tulsi, NBA has to give the approval, and after giving the approval for the research, when the cancer drug is being developed by the researcher, again it has to be approved. It needs to be approved by the government of India. These are some of the duties of this National Biodiversity Authority. Not only this one, this very cancer drug, whenever is being given patent right, like means lot IPRs, called as intellectual property rights. This property rights needs to be again approved by the National Biodiversity Authority. This National Biodiversity Authority headquarters is located at Chennai, Tamil Nadu. The next comes is the State Biodiversity Board, SBB. All matters relating to access by Indians for commercial purposes will be under the purview of the SBB. It's also entrusted with the job of announcing biodiversity heritage sites in the respective states. As on today, there are 18 such biodiversity heritage sites. Now, let us not confuse with the World Heritage Sites that are being enlisted by the UNESCO. These are the state biodiversity heritage sites, which are called as BHS. Then what is the difference between the protected areas and biodiversity heritage sites? Let us see the difference. In fact, the protected areas like maybe national parks, like wildlife sanctuaries or maybe the biosphere reserves, all they are administered under the Protection Act. Wildlife Protection Act 1972. But whereas the BHS Biodiversity Heritage Sites is under the Biodiversity Act 2002. This is one of the very important difference between the protected areas and the biodiversity heritage sites. Then the last comes is the biodiversity management committees, one is called as BMCs. These are administered by the local governments, means what, the local bodies. The both the central level administration, the state level administration like National Biodiversity Authority and the State Biodiversity Board are they are required to consult the biodiversity management committees at the block levels for all the use of biodiversity genetical resources. Now let us see the difference between the Wildlife Protection Act and Biodiversity Act 2002. Wildlife Protection Act 1972 and the Biodiversity Act 2002. See here, all the protected areas, one second, all the protected areas. All the protected areas are under the administration of Wildlife Protection Act. The protected areas like national parks, the wildlife sanctuaries, even biosphere reserves, all they are being administered by the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Whereas the biodiversity heritage sites, what are these biodiversity heritage sites? As on today, there are 18 such biodiversity heritage sites that are present in all over India, where the state biodiversity board is authorized in consultation with the biodiversity management committees has announced 18 such biodiversity heritage sites. What is the difference between these two? Let us see the difference. It is for the protection of both plants and animal species, both in the in situ and ex situ techniques. Whereas this Biodiversity Act is for the implementation of Convention on Biodiversity. The very objective of this Convention on Biodiversity is the conservation on biodiversity. Now, there is a strict punishment. The second point here is there is a strict punishment for hunting and poaching. It may be ranging up to 5 years of imprisonment. 5 years of imprisonment. Whereas under here it is the sustainable use of genetical resource and fair and equitable sharing of benefits. This is the main target here. And the next difference, it is having the wildlife protection is having the responsibility of announcing certain wildlife management projects. Wildlife management projects means what? All the projects like Project Tiger, Project Rhino, Project Snow Leopard, all they come under the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Whereas under Under the CBD means what? Under the Biodiversity Act, what comes is here it is entrusted with the job of declaring biodiversity heritage sites. What are these biodiversity heritage sites? Where you can find the unique flora and fauna, and the people will be protecting this particular flora and fauna in that specific locality, where the only biodiversity authority is having the authority to announce these biodiversity heritage sites. Also, you can have the other functions, the functions of this Biodiversity Act, like it is having the role of regulatory role. It is having a regulatory role. It is having some advisory role, regulatory role, advisory role, even the facilitatory role. Facilitation, facilitative role. What are these roles of BDA 2002? Regulatory role. What type of regulation is being done by the Biodiversity Authority or Biodiversity Act? It gives permission for the market use of genetical resources. It acts as a clearinghouse for the transboundary movement of genetical resources. Means what? For the export and import of the genetical resources. It provides permission to the foreigners to conduct certain research. These are the regulatory services by the Biodiversity Authority. It's a regulatory role. Then when it comes to advisory role, what type of advisory role is being performed by the Biodiversity Authority 2002 or Biodiversity Act? Is not authority, sorry, Biodiversity Act 2002. The advisory role, like BDA advises both the central government as well as the state government in formulating the policies relating to conservation. Not only this one, the Central National Biodiversity Authority helps in implementation of rules and policies on the conservation. The last one is called as the facilitative role. What type of facilitative role is there? The facilitative role, like it controls the biopiracy. It controls the biopiracy. If any non-disclosure of source of genetical resource is there, even it will recommend to cancel the IPRs, intellectual property rights, and also it helps in even giving the IPRs. Means what? If any researcher has developed any such very important human important medication, then it is NBA which will be recommending to the WIPO to give the intellectual property rights to that particular researcher. What is WIPO? World Intellectual Property Rights Organization. These are the some of the very important differences between the Wildlife Protection Act 1972 and Biodiversity Act 2002. Please don't feel bad about my handwriting. It's not the handwriting because of not having the proper gadgets where I'm unable to write this one. But please try to understand whatever I've been explaining. Let us not comment on the handwriting that is being given here. Okay, thank you, thanks a lot. Okay, then move to the next one. Under, let us see the salient features of Biodiversity Act 2002. What are the salient features? The first and foremost one, to regulate the access to biological resources of the country's equitable share in the benefit arising from the genetical resources. This is already discussed in the Nagoya Protocol. To conserve the sustainable use of biodiversity, Then setting up of national authority, state authority, and the block level is called as Biodiversity Management Committee. Both the national and the states are required to consult BMCs. This is a very important point. This is very important point. What is the point here? Both the National Biodiversity Authority and the State Biodiversity Board need to require to consult the Biodiversity Management Committee in decision relating to biospheres, related knowledge and with their jurisdiction. Means what? It is nothing but the bottom up approach. It is the bottom up approach. What is the bottom up approach? In fact, the biodiversity reserves needs to be enlisted first of all by the local people of that locality, then it needs to be approved by the state body, then by the central body. This is the bottom up approach rather than the top down approach. The bottom down approach will be giving good results. Then the next one is to respect the knowledge, especially the traditional knowledge. To respect the traditional knowledge of the local communities, if at all the traditional knowledge are being given greater emphasis, then we can lead or we can develop such a products which are ecological in nature. Then the next one is called as to secure sharing of benefit with local people as conservers of biodiversity, biological resources. All foreign nationals organizations require prior approval. Yes, already we have discussed. The Indian scientists approve that transferring results of the researchers. Again, this has been given. Almost all these are already discussed. Biodiversity heritage sites. These are the salient features. Coming to some of the other salient features involving of institutional state government in the broad scheme of implementation of Biodiversity Act, then protect Indian rich biodiversity and associate knowledge against their use by foreign individuals. Nothing but giving the permission to the foreign individuals in utilizing the genetic resources so that there can be bioprospecting but not the biopiracy. Okay, this is some of the other important salient features. Then Indian industry needs prior intimation to SBB to obtain bioresources. Yes, already discussed the provision of notifying. Heritage sites again has been discussed. The creation of state level again is a repetition of the things. The prior approval needed for IPRs. This is very very important. What is one? The prior approval is needed for the researchers by the NBA regarding intellectual property rights. These are some of the important salient features of Biodiversity Act 2002. The People's Biodiversity Register, a very very important part of this Biodiversity Act is maintenance of certain register. This is very very important. What is this register? This is called as People's Biodiversity Register. This is the main function of Biodiversity Management Committee at the district or nothing but the local level. It has to prepare a register with the consultation of the local people. What that it means? Now listen this one very carefully. Normally we will be coming across certain things from the elderly people, like suppose if there is a wound or if there is a cut in the hand, immediately the elderly people ask us to apply turmeric powder. It is a classical example where we people are well aware of such activity like applying turmeric powder on any cutted part. This sort of knowledge needs to be carried from generation to generation. Either it may be oral or written. Such knowledge is called as traditional knowledge. Such knowledge is called as traditional knowledge. Likewise, there are certain informations which needs to be carried from generations to generations. How the generation to generation knowledge will be dissipated? It has to be done by the local people. Whenever you are talking about the local people, the biodiversity structure at the local level is the management committee called as BMC. Therefore the BMC is entrusted with a great job of maintaining the register. Such knowledge which is being practiced right from times immemorial from by our elders needs to be written in the form of a register, so that the modern people, means what, the present communities and even the future communities, they will be following the same knowledge in the future also. Thereby they can dissipate the knowledge and can develop the modern, and they can develop the modern drugs. They can develop modern drugs. This is the purpose of People's Biodiversity Register. Let us see some of the other important benefits arising from the People's Biodiversity Register. See the data about the local weights. Nothing but these are the local doctors. The local doctors and the practitioners using the biodiverse biological resources. The details of the access of the genetical resources and the traditional knowledge. Graded details of the collection of the fee imposed in details derived and the mode of their sharing. This needs to be maintained the register. The best example. What is the best example? Today, whenever you are seeing one particular documentary in the YouTube, you can go to even this YouTube and you can find this very document called as Diwar. What is this document? The document called as Diwar, where one of the young lady used to collect the information from the local communities, and she is enlisting all in the form of a register. Thereby the knowledge is being dissipated for the future generations. Such type of activities are mostly are in fact largely seen in the northeastern India, where the traditional knowledge is having, in fact, this is a bank, we can say this as a bank of traditional knowledge, where you can find here in the northeastern region. Also in the state of Madhya Pradesh, you can find good traditional knowledge is being practiced, and even in the eastern Ghats of the peninsular India, the western Ghats of peninsular India, especially the local communities like in the Madhikara region of Karnataka, the Coorg people, where the Tulu speaking people, they are having their own traditional knowledge. And when you go to Meghalaya, the northeastern part, the Khasi people are having their own traditional knowledge. When you see the Nagaland region, the Naga communities, where they are having again their own traditional knowledge. When they all are being registered, I means what, they are being kept in black and white in the form of words, letters, then this traditional knowledge will not be lost for the future generations. This is the register needs to be maintained by the local communities. So again, these are all the duties of the Biodiversity Act 2002, 2002, where one of the very important Biodiversity Act duty is to check the biopiracy. Already we have discussed what we mean by biopiracy, which is opposite to bioprospecting. To check the biopiracy, the proposed legislation provides that access to biological resources and associated knowledge is subject to terms and conditions which secure equitable sharing of benefit. Also, further, it would be required to obtain the approval of the NBA. It requires approval by NBA when the NBA comes into picture, whenever the researcher is a foreigner. Whenever the researcher is a foreigner, then there should be an approval by the NBA. before seeking IPR, intellectual right. After this one, let us talk about the biodiversity heritage sites. Again, this is the job of the local communities, nothing but the biodiversity management committees. They, in consultation with the National Biodiversity Authority and the State Biodiversity Board, where they will be announcing the biodiversity heritage sites. The local communities should be central to such processes, including the identifying and deciding on the potential of biodiversity heritage sites. These biodiversity heritage sites, as on today, there are 18 such sites in India. Let us see the important biodiversity heritage sites of India. The intellectual property. The biodiversity management committees involves the marginalized sectors, especially the weaker sections of the societies, along with the women in the involvement of biodiversity heritage sites. Also, it is a close association of the governments, NGOs, also the learned personalities of the society who can facilitate the capacity building of the management of biodiversity heritage sites. The institutional linkages between the existing institutions like panchayat, gram sabhas, village councils, the urban wards, and the planning and management of the biodiversity heritage sites. Then there should be the notification in the official gazette, the areas of biodiversity important as well as the biodiversity heritage sites under the act should be clearly mentioned from time to time in consultation with the local bodies. The state governments, in consultation with the central government, may frame rules for management and conservation of all the heritage sites. The state government shall frame schemes for compensating or rehabilitating any person or section of people economically affected by such notification. These are some of the important rules that are framed in the biodiversity heritage sites. Let us see the important biodiversity sites of India.